It's another week, another game night. The Bears are back and they're out of sight. Bad calls, bad luck, it's a weekly sight. Tune in to another bad call, let's make it right. Yo, it's another bad call, it shows the name. Breaking down the plays, the blame and the shame. From Soldier Field to the NFL's domain. We're here to talk it out again and again. Another bad call, it shows the name. Breaking down the plays, the blame and the shame. From Soldier Field to the NFL's domain. We're here to talk it out again and again. Again and again. Again and again. Yo.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Bad Call. The podcast that proves the refs aren't the only ones who get it wrong. It is week 15 here on a Monday, December 16th, and we are just finishing up yet another disappointing game. Chicago Bears looks like they're going to lose to the Vikings 30-12. Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man. These guys, I guess my expectations are, am I echoing to you?
Not right now, no.
I'm getting a lot of reverb in my ear, hearing my voice, but it's beautiful, so I guess that's not a bad thing.
I don't know about beautiful, but it's certainly quiet when you're not talking to the mic.
Anywho, these Bears stink, and they're living down to my expectations currently.
Yeah, this was not a good game. I know you missed the first half. So let me go ahead and give you the quick rundown. They were real nice and aggressive, and they go for it on their side of the field on fourth down, except they throw a toss play behind their rookie left tackle. Not smart. Defense ends up holding, forces a field goal, which is good. The next series, Caleb suffers a strip sack. And he's got to be more aware in that situation. Again, it came from the blind side. Like, you got a rookie left tackle in there. Like, you got to be smarter with that. Vikings drive 39 yards, finish with the Justin Jefferson touchdown. The next drive, Bears move the ball a little bit better before punting away. Then the defense gets the Vikings into a 3rd and 17, and they convert. Jefferson ends up dropping a sure touchdown 2 plays later after 6 minutes of possession. Stevenson picks off Darnold on a 4th and 3rd conversion. But the third down really, it was bad. I think at halftime, the Vikings had converted 4 of 6 on third down, and like 3 of them were 3rd and 10 plus. It was not good at all. Caleb looked off. He missed a very wide open Adunze to convert a third. Ends up getting sacked. Bears go to punt. They get a running kicker penalty. Offense shows some signs of life, and then they fail to convert on 4th and 1 again. Again, trying to run swift, this time up the middle, right side a little bit. So, first half was basically, I guess I could have just said this. The first half was basically what we've seen out of the first half all year. Just really frustrating. And if I'm being honest, we've kind of given Caleb a pass a lot. Rookie QB, has been a bad head coach, bad offensive coordinator for a long time, giving him a pass. There were some things tonight where I was like, it went back to what I was talking about earlier in the season, where he's just holding the ball too long, or he's not taking the passes that are in front of him. He's too busy looking for home run balls.
Yeah, my thoughts from what I was seeing after halftime was that Caleb seems like he might be seeing ghosts a little bit. He's been hit a lot of times this year. He's still trying to make a lot happen. He needs to get rid of the ball quicker. But at this point, we got Kieran Amagaji trying to protect his blind side. And he's looking like he's not even a serviceable tackle at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really rough night, albeit against Jonathan Gennard, he's a good D end. Like, let's not, he's not going against a third stringer out there. He's going against a really good defensive end. But yeah, he looked lost out there.
Yeah, I mean, and you bring up Gennard, a guy who was a free agent available, who's much cheaper than what Montez Sweat is costing us. And
So you've been reading Clay Harbor's tweets.
No.
Oh, yeah, he basically tweeted out that same thing, and it completely ignores it assumes that all other factors are entirely the same. Like, if you get Grenard in, and he in this team, is he going to be as successful as he has been in Minnesota under that Flores system and with other players, right? Sweat's trying to put that entire line on his back. I mean, you gotta make sure you're looking at all factors. You can't just assume everything else is even with those two guys.
He's trying sometimes.
All right. Anyway, the other, I guess. So this is rough because we'd have like a day or two before we get into these, right? This is just a pure reaction show. I'm happy with Thomas Brown that he's being aggressive and he's going for things. I'm not happy with some of the play calling on those attempts, on those conversion attempts. Like I said, the toss play to the left side was not okay.
Right. And let's talk about some other, like he talks about getting into the details of things, and they get down on the 1 yard line, and they bring in offensive lineman to be the fullback, and he needs to report to the referee in that situation, and he does not report. It wipes the touchdown. DeAndre Swift off the board. Then you get a multitude of other things that happen, and they end up having to kick a field goal.
Yeah, let's not forget Doug Kramer, the same guy that fumbled in the Washington game when we decided to try to run that play. Rough year for Kramer as well there. Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad look. Like you mentioned, they talk about details. That is a detail that you have to do. Now, I'm going to assume that has been covered because they clearly practice that play. That's one of those where you can't truly say, is it on Brown or is it on Kramer? But I understand it. Like, there has to be some level of accountability from coaching, and I guarantee you it'll come up in his press conference, which we're not missing right now. We'll check it tomorrow. And knowing the way Brown has handled everything, he'll say that's on us. We have to do a better job. But that's a failure all around. Because it's not new. I mean, it was a big deal last year with I believe the same number, 68, Dan Skipper, right? For the Lions, who caught a touchdown yesterday.
They like to use him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was bad. That was just a real bad attention to detail. And then, as you mentioned, that whole series just got wonky bad after that. The other conversion attempt was a 4th and 1. I mentioned they tried to run Swift up the right side just a little bit off center, and it just wasn't there. And you either, in that situation, again, hindsight's 2020, you either need to be running play action or have that in your back pocket, run a read option or something like that. Or Swift's got to be a whole lot more aggressive to the hole. He looked like he danced a little bit and then just stopped. But that's where we're missing Roschon, right? I mean, Roschon would have been more of the battering ram to get through there. And unfortunately, we have a lot of guys concussed right now. Ryan Bates is out, Brisker's out, Roschon's out. Braxton Jones just started experiencing symptoms like Friday or Saturday or something.
I think they must be like Bears fans and banging their heads against walls or something. It's an epidemic.
Yeah, not not good. Not a good situation. Not a whole lot of positives to take from this game. I mean, listen. The defense the defense played hard for most of the game, right? I mean, obviously towards the end you start getting kind of like, all right, I'm not going to kill myself for this. Defense played hard for most of the game. Again, with the exception of the touchdown, Jefferson had like one other big play. I mean, you're holding one of the league's best receivers, if not the league's best receiver, in 2 games. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think he had like 18 yards at halftime. It was
So
not a lot.
yeah, I'll look up and see what he actually finished with. But I saw
I can tell you he had 73 yards. Because that was 70 was an important number for him, for me.
okay, that's all right. That's fair. One of those catches was on Jalen Johnson. So, Johnson continues to play really well.
Yeah.
Which is
the stuff that I saw in the second half, and I don't. You can tell me if it was different in the first half, but the Vikings looked like they were bored with being in a football game with the Bears and not like up to their A game, like they would have been if they were playing the Packers or the Lions at this point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a clear gap in where the organizations are right now, and it did show up on the field. Now, this is fascinating to me. Okay, so if you take the score completely out of it, okay, one team had time of possession of 16 minutes to 13 minutes, right? The same team that had the greater time of possession only had 2 penalties for 15 yards versus the 4 for 20. They had 63 rushing yards to 43 rushing yards. 44 passing to 137. So that's a big red flag. But when you look at total yards, it's 107 to 180. They run 28 to 35 in plays. It's going to be a close game, right? You assume that's a close game. The difference is one team was 0-7 on converting 3rd and 4th down. The other one's 4-8, right? And I mean, that's 4-7 on 3rd down. It's massive. It's just a massive difference there on being able to convert those. So the Bears were actually,
all year long. The Bears cannot get off the field on defense. They're bend but don't break, and then the offense hasn't been able to execute to extend drives.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking of this, like how would I kind of explain this when I'm watching this? Because we see this all the time, right? They don't do anything in the first half, then they do everything they can to battle back in the second half, but it ultimately is just too late. It's very reminiscent to me of how my golf game is at this point in time, where it takes me 5 or 6 holes to get warmed up, right? And then I play really well for like 5 holes, and then I'm tired, and I just can't finish out the round. And that's kind of like watching this Bears game. Is it takes them almost the entire front 9 to be like, okay, we're gonna get going. But once you've completely shit the bed on your front 9, your back 9's done, right? Like your round's over. You might salvage it a little bit, but you're not going to shoot anything. You're not going to have a winning round.
Absolutely.
So really frustrating. I was trying to think of what the equivalent would be of a driving range, right? Like hitting the driving range before you go out. They do warm-ups and stuff, but like you can't do those live reps. They've got to find a way to be quicker. But we're almost at the point now where it's like, I mean, what do we have? The Lions, we have the Seahawks, and then we have the Packers, right?
Lions are about to take their frustrations out on us this coming Sunday. We're not a team that is going to do better with one less day of preparation than our opponent, especially when they're the top of the conference, and we're slowly but surely sinking towards the drain of the bottom of the conference. And then we have another game on Thursday night of that week. It's not looking good for the Bears to win a game the rest of the season, I think.
So, this is gonna sound awful as a Bears fan. I want them to lose against the Lions, right? Because I want the Lions to keep as much distance between them and the Packers as possible, right? And again, lose to the Seahawks because again, that helps hurt the Packers, right? So, you lose the next two, and then I want to see you put everything together for the final week, and put the Packers. And I honestly don't care if the Packers don't have anything to play for. I want to see like go into Lambeau and hand them a loss, please.
Yeah.
But the Lions, as you mentioned, they're coming in hurt, right? I mean, that team. You want to talk about decimated by injury? Their defense. It feels like every time I watch one of their games, they lose 3 more defensive players every week, and on top of that, they lose David Montgomery for the rest of the year, which is, I mean, that's a big hit.
Killer.
An absolutely massive hit. So,
I don't know. It's not fun really following the Bears at this point, but it's our team, so we're gonna keep watching, and it's almost like a self-punishment, and we gotta see what we got from some of the younger players, but I don't know that we're getting a whole lot out of the rest of the season. Let's just hope we can get out with health.
yeah. That is my big concern at this point in time is all the hits Caleb's taken, and he took a couple more nasty ones tonight. Let's just keep him healthy, almost to the point where, I mean, I don't want to say you bench him because he needs the time, and he needs to develop that, get rid of the ball quicker, So if you're gonna play him, that's what I want to see is that he's gonna start going, here's my quick reads, and then get rid of the ball, right? Throw it away, please.
Yeah. So he's missing on passes, like he's overthrowing and things like that. But damn, if when he does put it on their hands, if they can't catch the damn ball, I saw Keenan drop a couple more here just in the second half. Ramadunze dropped a touchdown pass that was in his hands. It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I can't argue with that because there were some drops, but what you missed in the first half, and if you go back and watch how Caleb missed some, I mean,
he missed plenty in the second half too.
He missed some.
Like I said, he looks like he's seeing ghosts a little bit. He's rushing on when he he's not rushing the ball out of his hand, but like early in the progression of the play. But then when he does have to release it, he's over launching it. It's just I hope
some of that
habits that he can't be fixed with.
Right. I mean, and some of that, as you mentioned, you can see in ghosts. I mean, he's been hit 56 times going into this week.
He's been sacked 56.
Sacked.
He's
56
been
times.
hit a lot more than that.
Yeah. Sorry. Sacked 56 times coming into this week. And he's on a list with people that you don't want to be on that list. Right?
It's almost to a point where I'm wishing he would try to squeeze the ball in some places and take some interceptions. I mean, it's great that he hasn't turned the ball over really, other than a couple of fumbles lately.
Interception, yeah.
But he has not thrown an interception in 8 games.
He almost threw one in the first half. Speaking of Harrison Smith, just flat out dropped one.
Okay.
On I'll call it a hospital ball. It shouldn't have been thrown, but it is what it is. All right, buddy. Anything else? I mean, we can keep hammering this.
We've beat this drum enough. I'm not real. We'll get into some of the other intricacies of the Bears and other kind of discussions that we need to have later at a later time. But let's put this one to bed and have our weekly gripes. But Let me talk
Yeah.
about some degeneracy.
Let's
for a second.
throw some Tales of a Degenerate in there and go. I'll go real fast because
Okay.
I hit a couple yesterday, some baby ones. I hit a couple in the we'll call them 4 to 7x department that
Okay.
that definitely covered what I spent. We'll put it that way. That did not last into this evening. However, yesterday was okay, and I did okay in DFS too. So I had a decent lineup that allowed me to win our little league thing and place in the play action. So yesterday was a successful day for me on that front. So I'm happy about that one. I got that rare week where I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I didn't win a ton. I won a couple bucks, but a couple bucks are a couple bucks.
I was going to ask you, did you tail me, but apparently not.
No. I did hit a 3 touchdown. I had a 3 TD hit.
Okay.
Had Montgomery hit, I would have hit 2 more bets that would have put me into the 20x department for the day. But unfortunately, he got hurt and didn't have a chance to do so. So, story of my life.
I hear
Anyway,
So,
what you got for us?
For me, I did my weekly picks against the spread for Super Contest and came out 5-0. And I always parlay those picks. So that ended up being about a 20-1. I don't know. DraftKings is getting a little stingy with some of the boosts that they're offering, at least to me lately, because I didn't get. Usually I get a general boost for NFL, and I got nothing this weekend for that. But still, that was it was 21-26 plus 21-26 for the 5 against the spread, which was the Chiefs -4, Texans -2.5, Cowboys plus 2.5, Bengals -5, and Broncos -4. So that's the second time this year that I've gone 5-0 on a week, and it brings me up a pretty good margin now for the year overall. I'll upload those numbers later. But the big one of the day. My Sunday 4 to score, if you keep an eye out, about 11 a.m. on Sundays, I usually release a video.
Did this one come out at 11? I'm curious. Because the time I saw it was definitely not 11 a.m. I'm curious what time you put it out.
I think it was right around 11.
I'm just curious. I got the notification at 11:50 and I was like, damn.
So I was feeling frisky. I did I did 2 4 to scores this week. So I started out with kind of I thought would it be like an easier like one that might hit, and who was in that one? Brian Thomas. No, Brian. Yeah. Brian Robinson.
Don't you have your notes in front of you?
No, I don't. Jamar Chase, who did not score. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns. He didn't even score 1. I don't even remember the last guy. And the other one might have hit. But then I said, all right, let me go for a little bit longer odds, like wide receivers, who were in pretty decent scoring situations based on what I thought game environment would be. And so I had Xavier Worthy, Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb, and Jameson Williams. And that parlay, I did use my touchdown boost on that bet rather than the first one. And so with that boost, it was basically 135-1.
Yep.
And I had $10 on that baby. So it was a nice score. to watch Jameson Williams get an ultimate garbage time
Yes.
touchdown with 16 seconds left in that Detroit Buffalo game.
I can only imagine what your reaction was. I told you this yesterday. I was sitting on the couch, and, it was real quiet. The kids were in the kitchen cutting out cookies with the wife, and I jumped up off that couch and was clapping real hard. The dog got all riled up trying to figure out. Boys freaked out. They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Uncle Justin just hit this massive bet or whatever." And my wife goes, "He would hit something like that." And I was like, "Yep, that's." But we're happy for him.
I've lost enough of them that.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Yesterday, my son basketball games. I'm coaching. We had a couple of games, and just turned out that I knew that it was just going to be him and I for dinner. So instead of going home, we just stopped off at a Buffalo Wild Wings to watch a little football. He's enjoying watching football with me, which was making it even more fun for me.
right.
And he's like, "What are you looking at?" Because he could tell I was like interested. So then I had to explain it to him a little bit, what it was, and then it's like, it's not gonna hit. Oh, it's fine. We're having a nice time. We're having dinner and whatnot. And then they get down close. I'm like, "Oh, could it be? Could it be?" And then it hit, and I erupted in the middle of the Buffalo Wild Wings. And he's like, him and I are like high-fiving each other and stuff. It was a fun moment.
And he was like, "Hey, it's my college fund." Woohoo. No, that's awesome, dude. Good for you. That's it's always good when those hits. I was kind enough that when I saw that you had posted that one, I was like, "Oh, that'd be a fun one." And I stopped myself from betting it because I know what happens when we bet the same thing. So I was like, I'm gonna stay out of this. What's crazy for you though, too, like, yeah, Jameson gets the garbage time one, Xavier Worthy gets one, okay, CeeDee Lamb. The crazy one for me is actually the neighbors, because it came off of Tim Boyle. Like that. What? Yeah. Like that.
Right,
that's the messed up part.
Bonus odds on that.
Right. Like they automatically adjust your odds post bet because Tim Boyle has to come in. It was a good catch, though. It was a good catch, but all right, man, that's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Always love to hear some good tales of degeneracy.
I'm having a fun time learning CapCut and editing these videos that I'm putting together. So
I'm telling you, man, it was the text. I gotta give you credit. The text game on this one was good. The Chiefs colors choice was kind of funny that you just rolled with it the whole way through. While you were wearing your Chiefs shirt. You ought to start changing all the stuff in your background out to the Chiefs just to go full convert here.
Well, it was just that was a t-shirt I had on in the morning, and I just went with it. But
no, that's good. The production quality is definitely getting better on those. So kudos to you on that one, buddy.
But then when I screenshot things and try to post afterwards, and it crops me on Instagram to look like I'm sad about whatever happened, it's no good. Well, I gotta figure that part of it out.
Part of that's just your face. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, well, maybe like three extra people will watch my videos now that I had a couple of nice hits. But
a hit, yeah. We'll see if we can't get that out there. If you guys are watching right now, let us know any bets you have, and make sure you share out Justin's 4 to score. Try to get him out there. Sure. All right, buddy. Anything else before we move on to our bad calls of the week?
No, I did that about does it. I had some other hits, but those were the two nice ones.
All right, good for you. Good for you. All right, let's go ahead and move on then to bad calls of the week and wrap this up as we're on later than normal.
Yeah. Hey, I'll just go real quick here, but Thursday night, San Francisco, LA game. It's the middle of the second half, and the Niners try to put Devontae Campbell in the game because I think Dre Greenlaw got hurt. I hope I'm getting that player right. But anyway, Devondre Campbell refuses to go into the game. They go to they ask Kyle Shanahan about it afterwards. He's like, I had heard that he didn't want to go in, and then we tried to put him in, and he says no, and I went and talked to him. He just didn't want to go, and eventually he just left the sideline and went to the locker room on his own accord. He quit. He quit on his team. He's a paid professional that gets paid to play football, who's whining because he had started 12 games previously, and the guy that they brought him in to hold this place until he was healthy was Greenlaw. Greenlaw's finally healthy enough to play, and so this guy's going to pout and not go in because he didn't get to start. You're getting paid the same either way, buddy. But guess what? You're not going to get paid the rest of the season because the San Francisco, rightfully, instead of releasing you, got you suspended without pay. Screw you.
Yeah, and basically cleared out his locker too. He basically went full AB, with the exception of he kept his clothes on when he left the field. So, just a stupid move. Stupid move.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would agree that is a bad call. My bad call of the week is going to go to Dan Campbell, who's getting a lot of heat from a lot of other people on it. He went for an onside kick when some would say that you probably shouldn't. They had just scored 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They said they just scored and narrowed that lead down to 10 points, if I'm not mistaken. Momentum is now kind of on your side, right? You've just scored. Momentum is on your side. You have a chance to kick deep, hopefully ride that momentum to a stop, which I understand you've taken a lot of defensive injuries. That's going to be difficult to do. Instead, you go for an onside kick. Mac Hollins returns it to the 5-yard line. Momentum instantly back on Buffalo's side. They end up scoring, and now they go up 17. I understand your defense was hurting, and you're trying to make something happen. However, with this new rule such that you have to tell the other team, I'm going to do an onside kick, I don't think it's worth it in that situation. You want to get it down to like, hey, 4 minutes or 5 minutes and you're down 10. I get that at that point in time, but you had almost an entire fourth quarter. At least if you don't, make the stop, you're at least making them go the entire length of the thing. I understand the whole, you got to conserve time and all that stuff, but the success rate now that you have to tell people that you're going to do an onside kick, you basically just handed them momentum back. Like right after you took the momentum back, you gave it back to them. So it's a hell of a game. There's a chance that's our Super Bowl preview, right? Like there is a chance we see that matchup again.
It would be fun.
A decent chance to. I mean, both of those QBs played fantastic, just absolutely fantastic. But the onside kick there with 12 minutes left, and I think that's the kicker for me is when you did it. Right? It's not like the Sean Payton coming out of halftime of the Super Bowl because that's a surprise. Right? Like now that you have to announce it, it just kind of kills it.
They need to do something. Either get rid of it altogether, make it a 4th and 20 or something like that. 4th and 15 that you got to convert to.
Yep.
But to make you have to announce, I don't like that they're taking the element of surprise out of the game. I know it's for player safety, but I don't know that makes it any safer.
No, it's the exact same. I mean, other than I guess your head's a little bit more up, knowing that pressure's coming, that much faster or whatever. But no, I think it has to do with how they're set up, like the setup lines or whatever. But but still, it just I'm not a fan of it either. But it is what it is right now. And so for me to go for it with 12 minutes left, that was just no. Had it worked, obviously, maybe we're having a different conversation. We're talking about the cojones on this guy, and I love Dan Campbell. Don't get me wrong. Like,
I mean, he's been taking a lot of heat lately for other decisions being a little overly aggressive in situations.
Yeah. They are who they are. He's not changing it. But like I said, I don't agree with that one.
A little off topic. Ben Johnson, Joe Brady, both of those guys showing a lot of incredible offensive ingenuity. Now, coaching candidates for the Bears, I'd say both of these guys need to be on the list. I mean, we've already talked about Ben Johnson, but Joe Brady should be in the conversation too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you don't interview these guys, you're failing the organization right away. Yep. Along that coaching news, Belichick goes to North Carolina, right? Which huge surprise, honestly, to see him go to the college ranks, because we've talked about that we just feel like he's out of touch with the youth, but the way he's approached it from what he's in
college,
well, maybe he's a little in touch with the youth. That was my joke, that when he went there, now he can see his girlfriend between classes. But he talked about what he wants that program to be, right? And basically, I'm going to set you up for life after football, or life after college football anyway, which is awesome. Like that's what I love to teach these guys how to be either professional athletes or just professionals in general, and how to handle themselves. Like I think that's great. I think that's awesome. But it does take a name off the list, right? That I don't think either one of us really wanted anywhere near the Bears, but it takes a name off the list.
He must have been getting some feedback from the league overall that he wasn't going to get another chance, really, because I'm surprised that he didn't try to get another NFL job to become the all-time winningest head coach in the NFL, because he's not that far off.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he also has spent the last year just getting insights, talking to all these other college coaches and getting all the, now I know how to beat you.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, it's less about hitting the road recruiting and more about what your donor race can pony up for players now in the college game. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, you can go get paid to be developed. And it's not so much necessarily about you winning any national championship, but you getting ready to go into the NFL afterwards, right? So it may work out really well. But like I said, it takes the name off the list. So now we are sitting here looking at Ben Johnson, Joe Brady, Mike Vrabel, Aaron Glenn. Those are the big for the pop. Bobby Slowick, right? Houston. So we've got those lists of names. We'll see what happens.
In, Tampa, that guy. Did you say his name?
Cohen.
Yeah.
Cohen. Yeah.
Sorry.
I almost said Oppenheimer, and I'm like, I know that's not it.
Oppenheimer, that might be what the Bears need.
Oh boy. Yeah. I don't want to get into this too much of it, but I'll leave it as like a teaser for something that we should be talking about going forward a little bit more. They mentioned on the broadcast tonight that, they showed Ryan Poles a lot, which I always wonder what these guys are doing on their computers right now in the middle of these games, other than like writing down like our team sucks, like we need to figure out what to do type of deal. But they talked about how us Bears fans and around the league leading into the season, how everybody was thrilled with Poles, right? Like everybody's all on board. Like everything's all good. Matt Eberflus, fails us miserably at the end of games. The fail Barry, whatever you want to call it, happens. The entire wheels fall off of this season, and now everybody's like, he sucks. He hasn't done anything. He's the worst GM in history. Yada. Like in actual conversations about people saying he's the worst GM in Bears history, which is just asinine in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, that's not
right. But like it to me is like the epitome of Bears fans or Chicago fans, I guess, because we see this with Cubs fans every year of this is our year. But like Poles is amazing. He's the best. And then your team loses and you're like, well, he sucks. Like there's so many other factors. You can't just go Poles sucks. Now I'm not absolving him at all because there are clearly some failures, but it was a nice reminder of like, hey, remember how everybody felt about Ryan Poles at the beginning of the season?
It's somewhere in the middle, but the misses are starting to really be glaring. In the middle, I said somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and I will say that a lot of those misses have to do with the coaching aspect of it, for sure. Because you can bring these players in, if they're not getting coached up and developed, then you got a problem. So that's why this coaching candidate is so important. But
well, if you bring the better players in, then whatever.
Yeah, but we're talking about draft. Okay, well, whatever. Like I said, this is a conversation that we should be having at some point in time, but we've already gone way longer than we had planned on going tonight.
For sure.
So we're going to go ahead and call it. For those of you that stuck around, truly appreciate you. Stop by, whatever. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, share it, put in your comments what your bad call of the week was. Even if it was tuning into this broadcast, it'll still help us out, and we appreciate you. So until next time, try to avoid making another bad call.
It's another week, another game night. The Bears are back and they're out of sight. Bad calls, bad luck, it's a weekly sight. Tune in to another bad call, let's make it right. Yo, it's another bad call, it shows the name. Breaking down the plays, the blame and the shame. From Soldier Field to the NFL's domain, we're here to talk it out again and again. Another bad call, it shows the name. Breaking down the plays, the blame and the shame. From Soldier Field to the NFL's domain, we're here to talk it out again and again. Again and again. Again and again. Yo. Again and again.
I wish I knew why I was so echoey in my ear. It's still there.
It could just be something in your audio changes, or in your audio.
Anything.
Windows changes things at random. It happens to me all the time with my streaming shit.